Hello all. So in today's class we are going to discuss about human respiratory system. The human respiratory system, it is a series of organs that is responsible for taking in oxygen during breathing process and expelling carbon dioxide. Okay. So the primary organs of respiratory systems are lungs, which carry out this exchange of gases when we breathe, and it is situated in the thoracic cavity. Where is thoracic cavity? The thoracic cavity is the portion in the human body where these lungs, heart, rib cage, etc. are situated. And below the thoracic cavity we have diaphragm. Okay. Now during respiration, the two main processes that takes place is breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in is called as inhale and breathing out is known as exhale. So what happens during these two processes? During breathing in, we will use the muscles of rib cage, especially diaphragm. Diaphragm is the muscle that's situated just below the thoracic cavity. Okay. Now the diaphragm tightens and flattens. As a result, the thoracic cavity will get expand. As this diaphragm will get tightens or compressed, the thoracic cavity will get expand. As a result, air is sucked into the lungs, and this is inhalation process. Whereas when the diaphragm and the ribcage muscles relaxed, what will happen? The thoracic cavity will get compressed. Okay, that is when the relaxation of this diaphragm muscle, the thoracic cavity or the lungs will get somewhat compressed. As a result, the air is exhaled out, or this is known as exhalation of the air. Okay. Now we need to know what happens during this inhalation exhalation inside the lungs. Okay. Before that, the lungs are connected to outside environment through a passageway called a trachea, and this passageway consists of a pharynx, larynx, trachea, bronchi and bronchioles. Okay, also glottis and epiglottis. Okay, so through which part of our human body we are breathing in? It is through the nose. Normally through the nose. You can also take in the air through mouth also, but it is more preferred to take or breathe through nose, because nose has nostril hairs, and those hairs will clean the dust particles in the air. As a result, we could breathe clean air. So we breathe through nose, and from the nose the air enters to pharynx. You can see this diagram here. Through the nose, when you breathe, the air enters the pharynx. It is a common portion of both the food and the air. So from the pharynx, it will enter into larynx, trachea, and from the trachea, the trachea get divided into two lungs. To the two lungs, it will get opens into two lungs, and from the trachea into the inside of the lungs. Okay, so here this portion, this trachea, this portion of trachea is known as larynx, and larynx is also the same as the glottis. Okay, it is the portion where opening into the trachea. It is the opening or it is the passageway of air. It is also the portion, glottis is responsible for production of sound. Okay, now above this glottis or larynx, there is a flap, there is a cartilaginous flap which will prevent the food particles entering into the larynx or to the trachea. Okay, so epiglottis is a cartilaginous flap that will prevent the food particles to enter into the larynx or glottis. Okay, so the breathed air reaches the lungs. So inside the lungs you can see there are many branches. So this first the largest diameter portion where the air is entering, it is bronchus. And bronchus is again divided into several branches called as bronchioles, and in both of the lungs it is happening like that. And from this bronchioles will get end up in the tiny small air sacs. This tiny air sac is known as alveoli. There are numerous alveoli in both of the lungs. You can see small alveolar air sacs over here, and around this alveolar air sacs we have red blood cells. Okay, red blood cells, RBC is there, and this alveolar membrane is very thin so that diffusion takes place here. Okay, that is, exchange of the gases takes place between this alveolar air sacs and the RBC. The oxygen from the alveolar air sac, when during the inhale, the oxygen present inside the alveolar air sac is exchanged with the carbon dioxide present in the RBC. Okay, and this RBC is responsible for the exchange process, or it is the exchange medium there. Okay, so what happens after this RBC taking? So the RBC around the alveolar air sacs, okay, it will be having carbon dioxide, and inside the alveoli we have oxygen. So this oxygen is taken by the RBC and carbon dioxide is given into the alveolar air sac. Okay, so when this alveolar air sac is removed oxygen and when it get filled with the carbon dioxide, this diaphragm will get relaxed, and as a result this thoracic cavity get compressed and exhalation takes place. As a result, the carbon dioxide from the alveolar air sacs will get expelled out of the lungs through the nose. Okay, this is happening. Now what happens to the exchanged oxygen? That is, when the RBC receives the oxygen, it gets oxygenated. Or that blood that contains oxygenated RBC is known as oxygenated blood. This oxygenated blood will get moved to heart for pumping. So heart pumps this oxygenated blood into various other parts of the body, and when this oxygenated blood carrying oxygen reaches the body parts, it will get received by the various body cells over there, and the waste product from all those body cells, waste is carbon dioxide. This carbon dioxide is received, the red blood cells will give out the oxygen and take in the carbon dioxide, and as a result this blood becomes deoxygenated, or it becomes carbon dioxide carrying. This deoxygenated blood from these body parts, from these various body cells, will get carried back to the heart by the veins. Okay, and heart will pumps this deoxygenated blood from which part? Right part of the heart will pump the deoxygenated blood into the lungs, back to the lungs. So within the lungs again this carbon dioxide the exchange to the alveoli and it become deoxygenated, and this process repeats. Okay, so this is happening during respiration. Okay, hope you all are clear with it. The explanations is given here. Now the controlling of this breathing, inhaling, exhaling. During inhaling and exhaling, the thoracic cavity is compressing and relaxing, right? So this process, this operation of the lungs is adequately controlled by the respiratory center of the brain. Okay, it is controlled in such a way that adequate supply of oxygen and carbon dioxide is maintained as required by our system. Now some structural features. These lungs are spongy in texture, and during the young age, the lungs are brown or grey in color. Okay, it is in a pure form. Now gradually when we age, it will become a mottled black color because of the deposition of inhaled carbon particles. During the respiration, we are inhaling oxygen and exhaling carbon dioxide, right? So there's a chance of deposition of minute carbon particles over there, and by the aging it will get deposited and the color of the lungs will gradually change. So our right lung has 3 lobes to 3 sections, and left lung has only 2. The right lung is little larger than the left lung, and the right lung weighs about 625 grams, and it is about 50 grams heavier than the left lung. The exhaling rate is faster in kids than in adults, and it is healthier to breathe through your nose than through your mouth, because as I have told, the nose hairs and mucus present there will clean the air. Okay. Also, see this diagram. These are 2 lungs, right lung and left lung, right lung and left lung. So these lungs are covered by a membrane known as pleura. There is 2-layer membrane, and inside it you have pleural cavity. And as I have told, right lung has 3 lobes, whereas the left lung has 2 lobes. So it has a pleural cavity. Here pleural cavity is here. You can see this one, the center 3-1, a pleural cavity, and the outside membrane is pleura. Now there are several capacities, several parameters associated with the lungs. Okay, so there, first one, tidal volume, the amount of air breathed in and out during normal breathing. It is known as tidal volume. Normal breathing, what amount of air we are breathing in and what amount of air which we are breathing out. It is tidal volume. It is about 500 ml. And dead air space. Some of the air in the trachea and bronchi do not take part in breathing. That is, they are not either breathed in or breathed out. Okay, so that portion of air is air occupying space. It is known as dead air space, and it is about 150 ml. Alveolar air. Alveoli means they are the tiny air sacs present in both the lungs. So the air present in that alveoli is known as alveolar air, and it is about 350 ml. So next one is inspiratory reserve volume. Inspiratory reserve volume, or IRV, it is about 3000 ml. It is the additional air that can be forcibly inhaled after the inspiration of a normal tidal volume. So after a normal inhale, how much air which we can forcibly inhale, that amount is known as inspiratory reserve volume. Next is expiratory reserve volume. The expiratory reserve volume, ERV, is the additional air that can be forcibly exhaled after the expiration of a normal tidal volume. Okay, it is about 1200 ml. Next is vital capacity. The maximum amount of air a person can expel from the lungs after a maximum inhalation. It is vital capacity. It is about 4500 ml. Next one, residual volume. The volume of air that remains in the lungs even after a maximum or forcible expiration. It is known as residual volume, and the average residual volume in a healthy male is about 1200, whereas in females it is 1100 ml. Last one, total lung capacity. The maximum amount of air that can be held at any time in the 2 lungs, it is known as total lung capacity. It is about 6000 ml. Okay, it is obvious that the total lung capacity will be greater than any other volumes. So that is the various parameters, important parameters or capacities of the lungs, which we need to look into while learning the respiratory system. So that is about respiratory system. In next class, let us move on to nervous system, anatomy of nervous system. Okay, so thank you.